What you just heard was an acoustic guitar processed through a modular system with only drums and some compression added. The focus of this example modular patch is on the power of the Positronic Transient Gate from Steady State Fate. Let's take a look at how these sounds were generated. The PTG has an extremely wide palette of uses. SSF has an in-depth manual and patch book, and I am just scratching the surface with demonstrating a few different applications on each channel of the PTG. I chose an acoustic guitar because I wanted to really push the PTG with an expressive and dynamic envelope. You can use any sound source to drive the PTG, so don't be afraid to use it anywhere in your audio chain. The PTG-A is normalized to B, so I've attached the output of the guitar only into input A. The gain knob is being used for two different purposes. First, it's making sure the guitar signal crosses 2 volts to trigger the transient generator. Second, the post-gain output goes into the VCA to be controlled by the generated envelope. In this case, I'm using the gain to add distortion to the guitar signal. Channel A is being used to create a tremolo-like effect. A clock signal comes from Ableton Live through the Kenton Modular Solo, which translates MIDI to CV, into the rotating clock divider to generate different timings of gates. These gates are then fed into a double Andori envelope generator. These envelopes are being used to modulate the step and damp controls of channel A. Adjusting the CV controls and the envelopes can generate some interesting variations on the effect. Channel B is configured to be the new classic envelope follower setup from the patch book. The VCA in is left empty, which allows the envelope to be generated at B out. The envelope is then fed into the step and damp controls, which really allows a lot of dynamic response. The gain control influences how the guitar dynamics affect the attack and release characteristics. The beauty of this is the harder you play, the higher envelope voltage and the more effect on your modulation destinations. In addition, the B out is also connected to the frequency and resonance CV of a VCF, in this case the Microhadron Collider. Depending on your frequency and resonance settings and the level of the CV applied from the PTG, you can get things like a wah effect to crazy generative sounds when the filter is self-oscillating. In this case, I have it set to do both. The output of the filter is then connected to a delay module, in this case the Doepfer BBD 124 stage. The B-out envelope signal is also modulating the clock time, which generates very strange pitch stretching tones. The mix CV is being modulated from the tip-top Z8000 sequencer, clocked to 1/8 like one of the channels of the double Andori. This is generating 4 different CV levels in a loop just for more variety in the sound. The output of the filter and the output of the delay are fed to a mixer, and this is what they sound like mixed together. There's a lot of tunability in this sort of patch. Using different filters can really change your tone due to their different characteristics. Because the patch here feeds back, muting the guitar strings produces a lot of interesting tones due to the self-oscillation of the filter. Near the end of the audio example you're about to hear, I muted the strings with my hand and then took my hands off and allowed the guitar to feed back through the speakers. This feedback was also happening at the same time that the filter was self-oscillating. You will hear the sound switch between the different oscillations before I hit a final chord. Like I said earlier, this is just touching the surface with the number of things you can do with the PTG. It's an amazingly versatile module. While it might look simple, small changes can have a huge effect on what it's doing. The patch book contains many examples of using the PTG in different ways, and I highly recommend taking a look at it. Here is a final audio example of what I've created with this patch. All variations in sound are only happening with me playing or muting the strings. Thanks for watching.